Glad to have you back. The Lagos State government says the third mainland bridge would be temporarily shut down for 4 days, starting from midnight of August the 23rd to midnight of August the 26th, for investigative maintenance tests to be carried out.
The 4-day closure, according to the State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, is to enable contractors access the true state of the bridge, after which works will commence by the end of the year or early 2019. The federal government had earlier announced plans to shut the bridge in July, but the decision was put on hold after consultation with the stakeholders.
And the third mainland bridge, which was opened about 30 years ago by the then military government, has had haphazard maintenance and repairs in the past, which the present government says it is committed to correct by carrying out proper and continuous maintenance on it. All right, with us in the studio is the Director, Highway, Bridges and Design, Federal Ministry of Works, Engineer Tokunbo Shogbeson. Good morning to you, Engineer.
Good morning.
Good morning, Engineer. Nice to see you.
And also with us in the studio is the Federal Controller of Works, Lagos State, Adedamola Kuti. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah. All right. Engineer, let me come to you first off. Why was the plan to shut the third mainland bridge, stopped in July in the first place?
Well, thank you. I felt I should take you on historical background of Third Mainland Bridge. Actually, the second segment of the Third Mainland Bridge, that is from Ibutimeta to Oronshoke, was opened in 1990. That was about 28 years ago. It's almost 30 years. And there has not been any major maintenance on that project until 2008. We did a short maintenance in 2008 and with a follow-up in 2012. You quite agree with me that the bridge needs adequate maintenance because of the traffic volume on that road. Let me just give you a statistics. The Adeniji Adele end carries about 118 vehicles average daily traffic, while the Oronshoki takes almost 100,000 vehicles every day, which is massive, even higher than Genoa in Italy that collapsed recently. Well, the bridge was to be shut down in July, but we came to Lagos, myself and the minister, to appraise what we have on ground, and we realized that most of the trucks and containers were on the bridges we are supposed to serve as alternative routes. In consultation with the Lagos State government, we both agreed that it's better to shift it to allow for movement of the trucks and the containers. We may wait to recall that even the Vice President, Oshibajo, was in Lagos on that issue with a follow-up meeting with Minister of Transport and MD of Nigeria Ports Authority, which have been managed effectively. You may recall that some time ago, Lagos State even opened a trailer park called Balatinubu Trailer Park to serve a container holding bay. And we felt that we need to shut this bridge before resumption of school in September 10th. And we, jointly with Lagos State government, picked this Thursday, 23rd midnight, to Sunday, 25th midnight. Actually, it's for 3 days.
Yeah, we're about to ask you that.
It's for about 3 days because we're shutting it 12 midnight on Thursday, and we're going to open it 12 midnight on Sunday so that people can start using it on
Monday morning.
On Monday morning.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Now constructed or commissioned in 1990, and then first maintenance 2008, and then follow-up maintenance in 2012, and then the next one now is 2018. Tell us generally, for the bridge like Third Mainland Bridge, I'm coming to you, Adedamola. What was the original design as to how often maintenance should be carried on the bridge, considering the kind of pressure on that road?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, the maintenance is a regular thing. Normally, once you have any infrastructure in place, maintenance is a continuous thing. You keep maintaining some of these infrastructures regularly. So there is no particular design that, you see, once you have any infrastructure in place, it has been commissioned for use, you must keep on maintaining it. And as the director just highlighted, this particular bridge, the very first maintenance that was carried out on it was in 2008, and it was followed by another one in 2012, Now we have also seen the need for us to carry out another maintenance in 2018. Okay. So it's a continuous exercise.
So do you carry out maintenance based on, let us just check in case, or there is the need now, there's something imminent to happen before you carry out checks?
No. Well, like I told you, it's a continuous thing. You do your work continuously. You check your bridges and roads and any other infrastructure you have. And once there is any need for you to do it's a continuous thing. You don't have to wait for any calamity to occur. Or maybe, and of course, another issue is that once you do your normal routine checks on some of these infrastructures, there are certain things that you highlight, and then from there, you begin to think of recommending maintenance work to be carried out.
All right, engineer. Okay.
Let me just quickly say this to appraise the government of Muhammadu Buhari. That when our minister came on board, 2015, by 2016, we had a master plan for road maintenance, for bridge maintenance all over Nigeria for the period of next 6 years. Let me quickly say something on maintenance. There's something we call routine maintenance, like going to paint the parapet of a bridge. That's routine maintenance. Ideally, for structural maintenance, supposed to be at least check every 5 years to check the integrity of the bridge, check the abutments, check the piers, check the pier cap, and so on and so forth. That is comprehensive structural maintenance.
Was that a part of the plan when the bridge was constructed?
Well, let me say this. No, Nigerians generally, we don't pay particular attention to maintenance. And that's why the blueprint we are trying to do in federal now, to have a blueprint of maintenance for small bridges, at least structural maintenance every year. You know, that might be routine inspection to people to go and check if there's blockade, if there's any problem on the bridge. That one is routine maintenance. But structurally, to check the stability of the bridge. Let me just flash your mind back. There was a fire outbreak at a Dollar Bridge, which was not on the bridge. But because we have a government that's proactive, being led by Governor Fashola, we had to send our team to do inspection of that bridge, especially the last abutment, and we're doing structural stability test on it, just to be sure that structurally the bridge is okay. Ideally, it's supposed to be every 5 years, but which we're going to start doing from now.
Okay, yeah, initially, when the federal government announced that the bridge was going to be shut in July, and there was another report that it could be shut for 27 months for a place or something to be carried out, but later on, there was a rebuttal. But then, tell us what this investigative maintenance test entails, and after that, what's next?
Thank you. Actually, there was a mix-up in the announcement. Actually, the maintenance period, this present contract is for 27 months. That's the contract period. Okay. Not to be short for 27 months. Right. What we're doing now is to do investigative tests on the bridge to check the stability, and it's just for 3 days. We're going to do comprehensive, because let me say this, the Mainland Bridge has a span of 45 meters each, but there's expansion joint at every 135 meters. Mid-span of the mid-axis, we have an expansion joint. And you know, the most critical deteriorating part of the bridge is the expansion joint, because it's on the mid-span, it's not on the abutment, on the piers. It's at the middle, which really needs regular maintenance. That's what we're doing now. We're going to check dynamic tests on the expansion joints. And thereafter, we're going to follow with divers to check the condition of the piers and pier caps. Because we know, because we did, the last test we did was in 2008, which was a comprehensive test on the bridge. And we discovered that some of the concrete on the piers are already pulling off, exposing the reinforcements, which eventually reduces the structural stability of the piers. So that's what we're doing now. It's a comprehensive one. The last one was in 2000. It was about 10 years ago. So we want to do comprehensive tests to be followed up by structural maintenance, which can last the next 10 years. With the results we have now, can carry us for the next 10 years.
All right. So we understand this one is an investigation now, and then by early 2019 will be the main maintenance. Is that?
Yeah, even before.
All right. Now, Adedamola, talk to us about impacts of. Sometimes we've seen cars get burnt on the bridge. Sometimes we see accidents on the bridge. What impacts do all of these have on the bridge itself, as the case may be, on the life of the bridge?
Yeah, thank you very much. These are abuses that we do not really want to tolerate.
Okay.
And one thing I want to mention is that in Lagos State, we've been having series of problems with tankers parked under those bridges. In fact, there's a particular one now that we have in Apapa. Just as you enter into Apapa Wharf Road. Sometimes ago, there was, I think, some tankers under that particular bridge. They had it got burnt due to some of their nefarious activities under the bridge. And the thing that fire affected the slab. Now, the government awarded a replacement of that slab, only for us to discover that those beams carrying the weight, the whole weight down to the piers, to the foundation, are already affected by the effect of the fire. So, you see, now we just have to, in fact, very soon we are trying to get a report back to our headquarters for them to know the position of those beams. So we also had a similar problem around this same Apapa at Marine Bridge, that we now, in fact, the effect of fire has been something that should not be, that we've been having sleepless nights with. And very soon, we want to start, asking some of these people who are illegally staying under these bridges to, in fact, to evacuate them. Okay. So some of them have turned it to their homes and where they do all sorts of things in the night.
All right. Engineer, we already established earlier that by later in the year or even early 2019, there will be structural maintenance of that bridge. So how long will it take?
Well, thank you very much. Let me quickly say this to Nigerians so that they will get it clear. When we start the main maintenance, the structural maintenance, we will not close the total bridge. We only close sections we are working. The other carriageway will be opened. And there will be adequate traffic control for boats to take both directions. Okay. So that's number one. But the actual maintenance is about 27 months. Because we're replacing about 12 or 13 expansion joints. And then we're doing repairs on the piers and pile cap. That one will be underwater. And we're going to, like most of the impacts on the parapet walls will be replaced, and probably on the railings. Then let me quickly say this concerning fire on a bridge. When fire burns on a bridge, of course we all know that, with the high temperature, the structural element expands. Concrete, reinforcements, and when it expands, it might not really come back to original position. And we found out later you start seeing cracks. And once the concrete start coming out, reinforcement will be exposed, that will be rusting, and before you know it, the thing will collapse. So that's what we're trying to happen. So that way we want to encourage and speak to tanker drivers and tanker owners. Please leave our bridges. A bridge is not a parking lot. And under the bridges is not an holding bay. Because when most of them park on the bridges, they cook there. And some of them carry petrol, which is very volatile, and there might be explosion. Please, I'm appealing to traffic drivers, tanker drivers, and tanker owners. Leave the bridges. It's not good for us.
All right. Adedamola, we've seen cases where there are accidents sometimes on the bridge and the car falls overboard into the lagoon, as the case may be. That brings us to the issue of the barricade. He just talked about the railings now. Is it adequate? What we have on the third mainland bridge, is it adequate? What the barricades and the railings, are they adequate enough?
Yeah, they are. It's the standard, it's the standard. They're adequate, but I think, you see, some of these have resulted in, some of those accidents have resulted in maybe overspeeding on the part of drivers and the rest of them. Because, but what we have is high enough. You know, we have there, you see, those bridges have been designed to the standard, and then, of course, the parapet walls are just adequately prepared for those bridges. So, but I think the issue has to do with safety, the way some of these drivers operate, and like what the director also mentioned, some of those railings that have already been that are already off, we intend to start replacing some of them.
All right, and since this is in Lagos, let me ask you, will you be working with transport associations, last man, and then maybe FRSC as well, to ensure movement of traffic, and especially what's just complained about, the trucks and articulated vehicles parked on the bridges to get them off? We've
been holding series of meetings with all stakeholders, Federal Road Safety Corps, LASMA, LASEMA, the ambulance people, and then some of these other amateur and the rest of them. So we'll be holding regular meetings. For this period, we are having our men on ground. All the traffic management agencies will be on ground. The amateur people have also agreed to cooperate with us, even if it's for this period. They want to remove some of their tankers on the road, because these alternative roads, we just have to ensure that there is smooth movement. So we are having police people are there to provide security. Ambulance people are also there. Everybody will be on ground to ensure that there is smooth operations within this period.
Okay. Tokumbo, there are times where if you park on the bridge or you stand on the bridge, anything makes you stop on the bridge and vehicles are passing, there's this vibration, you know. And then a lot of people have called for the issue of the fourth mainland bridge, where because of the pressure on that bridge. But talk to us. Does third mainland bridge have a lifespan?
Well, most bridges have a lifespan of about 50 years, 50 to 60 years, depending on maintenance and use. Normally, when a bridge is designed, there's elastic limits, can vibrate, but there's a limit to it. When you get
so vibration is normal?
It's normal.
Okay.
It's normal. But there's a limit. If you exceed the limit, it's dangerous. And then let me quickly say this. The issue of the fourth mainland bridge will have been a noble project. I know that Lagos wanted to do it some time ago, because that bridge will take traffic from Island, that's Ikoyi, VI, Lekki, off Lagos Ibadan, which is already congested. So that people going to the east can use that bridge through Ekpe, bus out at the Jebu-Ode, and connect it to Shagam, Benin, which will have been a noble one. You know, when you do traffic study on a project, you now know how viable the project will be. There's no doubt that the fourth mainland bridge will be a viable project. It's a bankable project. What I mean by bankable is PPP can take it up because they will make the money, it can be told. And that's something. But
that's the toll that people always bring. There are controversial issues around tolls as well.
The issue about tolling is this. The national policy of tolling roads is that there should be alternative routes. If you are aware, there's M6 tolled in London, in Birmingham to Manchester. You have the option of going the main M6 and, you know, have delays, or pay toll and get out. That's the alternative route. So this is not really matter. People that will pay.
For the structural maintenance coming up later on, will local contractors be used or foreign contractors?
Actually, for the structural maintenance, because I've been awarded to Brody Prono, and we are aware that...
Are they foreign or local?
It's Italian company, but with some Nigerian engineers, because now we have local content for most of our foreign contractors. There's a specific number of Nigerian engineers that must work with you. All the skilled workers must be Nigerians. No, because Brony Prono was part of the team, consortium, PGH, that constructed that bridge in 1990.
Okay.
So they,
alongside Julius Berger.
No. Berger did from, I think, Yadele to Timeta.
Okay.
But that section was constructed by a consortium of PGH.
Okay.
Brony, that P there is Prono. It's a consortium. And they know virtually everything. It's just like Lagos Ibadan. The first section was created by Julius Berger. And they are back there working now.
Okay.
You know, for continuity. But we are aware of the local content law, especially executive of that 5 of the present government of
That's why I asked that question.
Yes.
Okay.
All
There's
right.
local content law.
Yeah, before we go, you were talking about lifespan earlier on. People will be concerned about this. You said roughly 50 to 60 years. So by the time Third Mainland is 50 years or 60 years, what happens?
What happens is this: after the lifespan, there will now be a comprehensive integrity test. And there may be need to do underpinning. If some of the piers are failing, you can do massive maintenance by doing underpinning to strengthen the life of the bridge. If some of the slabs need replacement, they can not replace. Okay. It doesn't mean that you have to demolish the bridge. No. What really comes in is that there will be major repair works or major reconstruction, so to speak.
All right, so Ademola Mola, the Lagos State Ministry of Works will be actively participating in this exercise? Yeah.
We've been working in conjunction with the Lagos State government. There are also important stakeholders in this initiative. Okay. So we are working together. It's a joint something.
Okay. Talk to us briefly before we go, Engineer Tokumbo. You have an idea of how much this is going to cost?
Let me quickly say this. It's about 18.something billion.
For the maintenance?
Yes.
18 billion?
18 billion, yes.
Whoa.
So it covers the investigative maintenance
test,
and then the structural maintenance?
Replacement of the expansion joints, repairs of piers, underwater, and about the pier caps. Okay. Let me seize this opportunity to thank our President, Muhammadu Buhari, and of course our Honorable Minister, Babátúndé Fáṣọlá, son, and of course to extend our gratitude to the Governor of Lagos State and the Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Akisoya. We really appreciate this cooperative efforts.
Okay, 18 billion, all right. And that bridge, from the reports we got during Babangida's era, cost less than $1 billion to construct. And we have 18 billion naira for maintenance. It's all right. We must thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. Engineer Tokumbo Shogweton, Director, Highway Bridge and Design, Federal Ministry of Works. Thank you very much for coming. And Adedamola Kuti, Federal Controller of Works, Lagos State. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Coming up on the program, elections in Rivers State has from time past been characterized by violence, rigging, and all sorts. Last Saturday's by-election in the state was no different, as thugs invaded polling units, attacking INEC ad hoc staff, forcing them to abandon their duty posts.
Well, that's up for next discussion in just a bit. Stay with us after Nifemi Ogute, of course, gives us the news update.
And that'll be at the top of the hour.